If you love fresh fragrances, then this is the video for you. We are going to go through 3 new fresh fragrances that are part of the O collection from Zara. Before I begin, if you love smelling good, then make sure you hit that subscribe. I basically upload every single day and you will smell good for sure. So Zara has gone from occasionally doing something that impressed me to doing so a lot more frequently lately with their latest collections. I highly recommend checking out my review of the Woody and Tobacco collection. I'm going to link to that review above, so please do check it out. Those two are still some of my favorites from Zara. So let's begin with Zara Amalfi Coast. Some of the notes in Zara Amalfi Coast are lemon, nutmeg, mastic, woody notes, vetiver, ambroxan and cashmere. Straight away a big dose of a smooth citrusy freshness with a soft spiciness to it, and the whole thing has a sort of a smooth and soft balsamic touch. There's a slight hint of sweetness to that citrus that I like a lot, and that exact same thing reminds me of something else. No idea which other fragrance though. So Zara Amalfi Coast in a way feels familiar. As it has into the mist, that spiciness grows in intensity and the whole thing starts to shift into something a bit less fresh and instead more woody. The full dry down to me is woody and quite musky with a soft hint of freshness to it. I quite like it. It's a nice, fresh and happy vibe kind of scent. However, I would have loved for the opening through to the mids to last a bit longer though, because I really enjoy that smooth, citrusy and slightly sweet freshness of it. The full dry down feels a bit more sort of a common and something I in a way smelled before. Before I move on to performance, I do want to highlight something I've found with a lot of the newer Zara fragrances I bought and how they change with a bit of usage. The first time I sprayed it, I liked it. The second time I sprayed it, I liked it, but it smelled a bit different. At one point I found it to be a lot more sort of woody and musky, and the latest times I sprayed it on, its freshness lasted longer. These new Zara fragrances need a bit of usage to develop, and most of them, not all, but most of them will smell a bit better or at least a bit different with a bit of usage. Performance. Zara Amalfi Coast is not beast mode, however it's not super weak either, somewhere sort of around average or slightly below. Projection seems about average. Longevity though sometimes impresses me because at times I get whiffs of this hours after I spray it on. Usage. This is a citrusy fresh, a woody and musky scent that's perfect on a warm day or whenever you want a fresh scent on you. It's definitely not loud in any way and it's a very likable, fresh kind of scent. So I do feel that this works for pretty much any occasion. Let's move on to Zara Tanto Amore. Some of the notes in Zara Tanto Amore are blood orange, juniper berry, cardamom, pepper, sage, lavender, iris, vetiver, cedar, patchouli and vanilla. The moment you spray this on, you will most likely get the same reaction as I did, in that it feels very familiar. This is really nice. Right away, a big dose of aromatic freshness and a bit of spiciness. Its spiciness is quite soft in the beginning, but quickly grows stronger by the minute. Zara Tanto Amore has a very familiar vibe with its intense aromatic side with the sage and lavender. And I think they were inspired by something from YSL, like YSLY or YSLY or the Parfum, or something else in the YSLY line mixed with something else. But that's just in the opening. As it heads into the mids, to me at least, if you compare it to like a YEDP, this gets a bit spicier and it also lacks that fantastic fruity sweetness of YEDP. And the dry down to me is all about the soft kind of woodiness that's slightly powdery and slightly sweet with a bit of soft aromatics from the opening. So it opens up with a dose of aromatic freshness that feels quite familiar and with a dose of spiciness, and dries down to something that feels a lot less fresh, more woody with a slight hint of sweetness and powderiness. I like it. This is the kind of scent I enjoy wearing as an everyday kind of scent. Something I can spray on anytime, knowing I will smell good anywhere to most people. The opening and the final dry down are probably my favorite parts of it. However, I just wish that it would have been a bit more intense in the dry down. Performance. Longevity seems pretty good, it lasts quite a while. It's not, however, beast mode, but the scent trail is really nice. Projection is only above average or slightly above. Let's talk about usage. Anywhere, anytime really. Use it for work, for school, for the gym. When it comes to seasons, summer and spring for sure, but you can definitely use Tanto Amore throughout the year. So let's move on to Zara Positano Sunrise. Some of the notes in Zara Positano Sunrise are violet, pina colada, woody notes and incense. This opens up in an interesting way, and I guess it's that pina colada accord that gives it this sweet, sort of a coconutty and fruity scent. There's something else to it as well. No idea what it is though, but I like the opening. As it dries down, it moves away from that to a sort of a smoky kind of woodiness with just a hint of fruitiness, and it's slightly powdery. I'm a sucker for tropical scents, and I definitely enjoy the opening. However, I wish it would have been a lot more intense. The dry down unfortunately loses a lot of that initial tropical feel, and I really gotta spray a lot to make it pop in the dry down. There's really nothing to dislike here, except that I wish the performance would have been better and that a whole sort of a tropical vibe would pop more and last longer. Performance, about average or slightly below average. Positano Sunrise lasts a few hours on my skin with a soft kind of projection. When it comes to usage, Positano Sunrise is all about summer vibes for sure. Before I rank them, I do want to say that my overall impression is that these are nice freshies. There's definitely no shortage of freshies out there, but these smell good and are quite cheap. With that said, they will to some smell completely generic and to others smell great. I would not say that any of these blew me away. I still prefer the Woody and Tobacco collection over this. These three, however, smell good. And it's nice to see that Zara expanded this sort of a line or collection with a group of freshies. I think that if you already have a lot of freshies from designer and or niche brands, then these will probably be redundant. If you don't have a lot of freshies or just want nice cheap ones, then you should probably check these out. I'm going to give third place to the sort of a tropical, fruity and woody Positano Sunrise. A freshie with a bit of a twist. I just wish that twist would have been a lot more intense and long lasting. The opening definitely gets my interest, however it starts losing it as it dries down. I'm going to give second place to Amalfi Coast. Smells good, and I like its smooth citrusy freshness. Something about it feels familiar, but it's a feel-good freshie that makes me smile. First place goes to a scent that feels quite familiar, and I just enjoy that kind of scent. Tanto Amore's mix of aromatic freshness with a bit of soft woodiness and powderiness is really nice. And the performance, at least on my skin, seems to be the best out of these three. So there you go, Zara Tanto Amore is my absolute favorite out of these three. Now, I would love to know your thoughts on this sort of an O collection. Do you think it's a good one or do you dislike it? Like this video, I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe, make sure you hit that notification, but make sure you check out the videos over there, and I'll see you in the next one.